vintage is, if you're wearing vintage, you walk in and nobody else is going to have the same hat, dress, shoes, bag, whatever.
My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships.
Vintage fashion is like a certain object that's attached with history, memory, and emotion.
She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high.
Vintage for me is the height of luxury. When it's been made exceptionally well. You look at it, you don't feel old in it, you don't feel dated, you feel modern. That's my kind of vintage.
Beyond a doubt, my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as...
My name is Jeff. I'll give you the full one. Jefferson Enyinaya. That's my African name, my middle name. Ihenicho is my surname. And I don't wanna be... I started from the markets, obviously. Portobello Market, where I had a stall and I expressed myself with vintage. And it was absolutely wonderful experience. And also I was advised by my clients then to further take on a shop, which I did. I love to think I'm an artist. I don't design everything, but I appreciate. It's the only way I suppose I know how to express myself. You know, I exhaust the space I have and then I incorporate every other space I have. It's just my style. I'm better at creating stuff out of special materials. Like I'm working on a dress at the moment. I'm using Paco Rabanne, original Paco Rabanne discs. Used to be a curtain, so I've dismantled it and now I'm changing it into a dress. Passion. Passion makes me get up every day and go to work and being around what I enjoy doing. For me, it's not like a job. It's just me. It's almost like a home, my shop as well. I've made it to feel like a home. So I don't really feel like I'm getting up to go to work. I feel like I'm getting up to go to be passionate about what I love. Greg. Before we remove another box, let's pack this back into this box for now, please.
What's that?
Can we put all this, James?
Yeah.
Can we put all this into this suitcase first in order so everything is out of it? No, Greg. What? Do it properly, please. I'm different from everybody else. That's why I'm one of a kind, and there's no competition for me personally. I just do me. And as an Aries, I'm a perfectionist. When I first started, what I do now is known more as second hand. I would say I made it known that it should be vintage and appreciated as vintage to give it more respect. I feel if there's antiques and vintage wine, there should be vintage clothes if it's been made to stand the test of time. Hence the sort of stuff I go for. I like to go for pieces that have been made so well that they will go on and on and on. So that's me. Quality.
650. 650.
You love it?
I love it. Sono un artista e amo indossare abiti che abbiano una storia, che abbiano i segni e l'energia di molte persone che l'hanno indossata, che magari ha viaggiato, che non è stata solo in un posto, che è riuscita a passare di paese in paese ed arrivare fino a me come questa camicia.
say they only 20.
Yeah, because if you want...
They say they only 20.
Hi, I'm Jason Moe. I'm client manager at One of a Kind. It's not easy to describe Jeff. He's very eccentric character. I think.
Feel free to try anything on, okay? There's changing room for me to try anything on. Doesn't understand.
Seeing him more excited about repairing a delicate snakeskin jacket, by hand himself, rather than selling. His brand is One of a Kind, and he is one of a kind.
That's the best pattern cutting
How old
you've ever
is this?
seen. 2006. It's all handwritten inside. These buttons are gold.
It's well made. Half my years I've been collecting and selling vintage and literally dressing people up. As much as I buy pieces to sell, I've also found pieces that I would never part with. I've found some very special pieces over the years from fairs. The eclectic collection they present, in that you can go and you never know what you could find. That's what I like about them.
And it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old Maggie Heath, babe, and it keeps it out of sight. When that shark bites.
As a teenager, I started collecting brooches and handbags, and then one day I thought, I've got a big collection, I think I'll sell some of it, which was the biggest mistake I ever did, because instead of clearing space, I've now got more, because I got the selling bag, and I just love coming to sort of vintage fairs.
Now on the sidewalk, ooh, Sunday morning, lies a body.
This is Christie's South Kensington in London. It is the vintage fashion auction or couture auction.
7,000, 8,000, 12,000, 13, isn't
The
it?
auctioneer would take bids from telephone bids, from the floor, from the internet.
So well done.
And also, if people say, I'm a bit scared of doing it like that, you can do what's called a written bid. So you put in how much you want, the maximum you want the auctioneer to go for, and just hope you get it. This is a wonderful opportunity for anybody to buy them. Chanel always, to make her clothes, her jackets hang well, she'd always put a chain on so that they hung correctly. This has got little press studs to take the collar off so that it can be washed. And you've got your matching Chanel buttons there. It's all lined in silk. It's a very classic Chanel there. It's beautiful. Really, really lovely.
This is the only one in the world. There's no... The buttons were made specially for the jacket.
If I had to resell this, it'd be a bit tricky without the button,
Yeah, I'll bring it back to you with buttons.
Well, let's have a look at it with it. Normally, I tend to stay away from things that are damaged and need repair. I particularly like my clothes in perfect condition, unless it's a piece that's inspirational.
Oh, and every time the leather gets stretched, then it covers up the hole again. Every time the leather gets stretched, hold on.
How can I do that?
Yeah, every time you stretch the leather, it's going to do that. So all we need is we need to re-punch the holes. How long have you been doing this then? 30 years, more. 30 years.
You show me that, don't give you a ticket. Who's going to come? You?
I'm going to come, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your name?
Jason.
Jason. KB.
There's something I love very much, is this Emilio Pucci beaded harem pant jumpsuit from the 60s. I also have things I've bought of people like Kate Moss and Karen Elson, the model.
我是 Dora， 我现在在威斯敏斯特大学学习 Television Production。我来伦敦差不多有3年了，我是一个 Vintage lover。我觉得中国人就好像去商场吧，总是会要服务员给你拿新货，他们总是不喜欢用别人用过的东西。所以呢，就是我妈妈觉得呢，就是比如像这些衣服，如果是从死人身上直接扒下来的，她就会觉得给我带来厄运或者什么的。差不多2、3年前，在北京没有真正意义上的那种 vintage 店，就是当我来伦敦的时候，然后我看见了一些 vintage 店，然后我开始就是爱上 vintage。
Hi. Good to see you. Dora?
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. Finally you made it, so come with me.
Me too.
Okay. So you want
bags and
the best
clothes,
of vintage in my
vintage,
private room.
So I'm quite interested, so I booked an appointment. I want to have a look.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay.
Thanks. Welcome to One of a Kind.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. It's quite special.
It's special. It's by Timmy Wood.
Wow.
The surname of the guy who designed it is Timmy Wood. He's American and he makes all his bags from wood to match his surname. Yes, that's a beautiful piece.
It's really nice. What is the age?
1980s.
Wow.
Timmy Woods of Beverly Hills.
How much is this one?
It's about £3,500.
Wow. You think the value will be kept in the future for this?
Yes, because they've been made so well. This is from 1980s, for example. It's probably older than you.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It still looks good. It looks like it's still got some more years to go, you know?
Oh.
That's what it's about. It's about how it's been made, obviously, and the quality that also affects the pricing. Hence, you know, I'm not exactly a very cheap shop. I'm quite an expensive shop because of the things I collect. I have a large Chinese clientele. I suppose they have the money and they like quality. Hence, they love vintage.
我打算以后开一个这个 vintage 店，会有一些自己的风格，比如像加入一些中国元素的风格，因为我觉得中国是一个有着悠久历史文化的国家，它有很多东西其实还是值得去展示，然后值得去保存和珍藏的。
I'm now a student at University of the Arts London. Previous year I was in Milan and studied fashion design. At the moment, I think it's a big trend for Chinese people to fall in love with the vintage. It's just because of it's powered by the booming economy of China, I think, and with people's income increased, and they had the need to purchase some vintage stuff. People, they employ the vintage clothes. It's part of their experience of the Western culture, and also part of their experience for the Western history and the memory. For my understanding, vintage fashion is like, I think is the reservation of culture, which could let people to look backwards and trying to look forwards to develop the new fashion trend.
With fashion, it's a cycle. So it just goes around. Sometimes the new things need to be inspired by the old stuff. That's where we're coming.
You're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never will go so well. But why should I try to
Vintage is old money. And you have a lot of new money now trying to look like old money. Hence, people love vintage.
I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear.